Hello, everyone. Hope you are well on this Wednesday night. Kind of late on a Wednesday night. Got a late start. Very busy day at my day job. So just getting to it here. So thanks for bearing with me. Lots going on in the news today as well. We have the regional banks sliding, and that slide is deepening. Even later, just as a few hours ago, that's the developing story. So I'll give updated information on that. We also have a situation to where Russia is saying that their president Putin survived an assassination attempt. So we'll get into that for a bit. I also will have a very good passage to share from the devotional book that I believe you will enjoy. Okay, first I'm going to start off with the assassination attempt. Russia is saying that Putin survived this attack. This was a drone attack on the Kremlin. And this happened, Teddy's looking at me, and this happened about 2 a.m. local time in Moscow. And there was some video about that. You may have seen it, but it did look like there was smoke rising above that domed part of the dome roof of the Kremlin, and looked like a little small fire was going there for a while. So apparently there was some type of a of attack on. At least two drones hit right there above the building. Now they're saying, Putin survived this assassination attempt, and they are threatening retaliation. It's unclear, of course. Now Zelensky and Ukraine, they're denying any involvement in this. It's unclear who, we may not ever know who really tried this. It probably was the West, Ukraine slash us, so United States military. So is this a false flag? It could be. It could be as well. We just don't know for sure. However, this is an interesting development, kind of a scary one because this could lead to further escalation, uh, especially with a retaliation on this by Russia. They're threatening, also, are threatening to target Zelensky now, since he apparently targeted Putin. So it'll be interesting to see what develops here in the next day or so or week. So, do you believe this was a false flag? Share what you think about that. It could be. So, but yeah, interesting. Hopefully, this does not escalate into something really terrible. Okay. Um, hopefully not. Hopefully not. The bank slide continues, and the dominoes, I believe the dominoes are lined up and could really keep falling here. Regional banks their shares plunge even further today. So this slide is deepening. Pac West Bank Corp, over 50%, they're down over 50% in after hours trading earlier this afternoon. It said that they're weighing strategic, quote unquote, strategic options, including a sale. So they will probably be the next one to be gobbled up by a larger bank, probably the same one that gobbled up First Republic. That'll probably happen. It might happen tomorrow. It might. Um, Western Alliance. Western Alliance Bank Corp down 35% after hours trading. Now, all this is the Fed chairman Powell. He came out and said, this was earlier today, quote unquote, the banking sector is sound. He said that today. He said something like that yesterday, too, I believe. It's like these guys, the more they open their mouth, the more they say stuff, the less I believe. You know, means nothing to me. Now, earlier today as well, the Fed did increase, you may have heard this, increase the interest rate another 25 basis points, so a quarter percent. This has been the highest since January of 2001. Ouch. So, banking contagion is a big concern right now. The fears of that do return. Like I said, the dominoes look like they're lining up and are going to fall here, continue to fall. And it'll be interesting to see how far this goes. Does this reach into your Bank of Americas out there, regions bank, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, uh, all these other banks that you hear about, the regular large ones. There's a debate about that. You know, what do we do? What do we? At what point do we need to stuff cash under the mattresses? Somebody made a comment about that. I think Kathleen made that comment yesterday on my video from yesterday, and yeah, a lot of our ancestors did that. Especially in the last uh, depression. And it looks like we're heading towards another one, and it could pale. It could make that one pale in comparison. It really could. I mean, you have 64% of the United States population lives paycheck to paycheck. 64%, y'all. And it's probably higher than that. It probably is. So, how in the world do you save anything? You don't. How do you get ahead in paying bills? You don't. They say a lot of people, a record number of people, are using any sort of pay now or buy now, pay later apps, programs. So we're just digging the hole ever deeper. And the worst thing, it's the worst thing that can happen. The worst thing that folks can do right now, especially with the prospect of a job loss coming up, and then you're in a real fix. Then you can't pay the bills that are keep coming in. People can barely get by now as it is, even if they are employed or have more than one job. Still, we both work here, and we're getting by, but we're really not been able to. We haven't been able to say for a while there we were able to, but with the inflation, the grocery prices going up to craziness, um, interest rates up, you know, property taxes, this and that, you name it. Utility bills go up, insurance, automobile insurance goes up. Everything does, and it eats away at your ability to put anything back. It's like that's the design, that is the intention, right? At some point, there's something's got to give. There's a break. Something has to give. There's a breaking point, and I believe eventually, what's going to happen is you're gonna see you're gonna see communities, and it probably would start out small, and it's probably happening already on a small scale, and it's like homesteading, but truly, or like even the Amish on that level or on that kind of model, maybe something similar to where you truly break away from the system and create your own community, where you are pretty much self-sufficient. Um, you work the land, you work your property, you barter, you trade. There's a local trade. Uh, Maybe even set up an alternative type of currency. I mean, that sounds outlandish, right? But I think that's coming. I think that is coming. I think that will happen. It may take time to develop. It will be a challenge, but maybe that's what's coming and needs to happen. That would be a battle in more ways than one, if you can imagine. But as I was saying earlier, and I got off on a tangent there. Anyway, But 64% live paycheck to paycheck. Yet I see, I don't see how people save anything. Yet I see a lot of new vehicles. I see huge trucks going down the road that are sparkling with the new tags on the back. I don't know. I mean, maybe that's the folks that do have the income and they have the disposable income. I suspect that some of it, I suspect that people are just living for today and going to worry about how to pay for it tomorrow or next year. Whew, they're in for a rude awakening. Anyway, I went on about that probably too much. If you're still watching, I really appreciate it. All right, I have a really good passage. Share your thoughts on all this stuff, y'all. A good passage from the devotional from today is from Luke. The book of Luke, chapter 12, verses 25 and 26 say, "Who of you, by worrying, can add a single hour to your life? Since you cannot do this very little thing, why do you worry about the rest?" Amen. That's a good question. Those are good questions. And I know I'm guilty of it, of worrying. And it's an easy thing to do. We are human. And then also down the page toward part of this devotional, this person writes, "Lord, you've blessed the world with many ways to stay connected, yet sometimes I am too connected. Help me remember that life is not a URL." This person was getting wrapped up in the digital world and in work so much, and getting eaten up with worry that sometimes you have to stop and recenter. And we know what the center is, don't we? You have to recenter, decompress, and just really focus on Jesus and keep in prayer and take a deep breath, pray and listen, right? So let's remember that, keep that in mind, share your thoughts. Let's stay safe, let's stay aware out there. God bless you. I'll see you soon.